2NURFM 103.7 as we have a look at some of the things that are happening in the world of education. And for many of us, the HSC was quite a while ago, but our Professor of Education out of the University of Newcastle, John Fischetti, here to bring us back into that time of year. John, many households across the Hunter, the focal point of an entire scholastic career to this point, about to unfold in the next little while. Good morning.
Yeah, and I went through all of this in the 20th century, Mark, so it seems like yesterday, even though it was a long time ago. You think about, Mark, year 12 students and what years 10 and 11 were like for them. The last couple of years going through school and getting to this part of their journey. So much is made of it, a little bit overblown, but I think I'd like to divide the population into three groups, if it's okay.
Please do.
The first would be those students who are top students academically, who are already projected to go real high in their ATAR and have already sort of figured out what they want to do and where they want to go. Those students are probably already admitted to the university of their choice because of early offer schemes that have taken probably the top 30 or 40% of students and already said, sure, here you go, you're in, pending showing up anyway for the HSC. Those students have a different set of needs than students sort of in the middle who want to go for their best results so they can get into the degree of their choice and sort of open that door for something that might be closed, they believe, if they don't do well. And the other are some young people, and it seems to be a higher percentage than usual, who just might have punched out a bit during the last couple of years and just don't know where they're going and what they want to do. I think each of those three groups have a different special set of needs during this HSC season.
And look, it really, it really gets to that point where, like, you think, I've done all of this, 12 or 13 years of school, and it really, the mindset anyway, rightly or wrongly, is that it all comes down to this bunch of tests that happen over a month or so, where, there are options if it doesn't work out that way. But obviously everyone wants to do their best to sort of put a full stop on the end of this part of their life.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, Mark. The goal of this is just go do your best. The good news and what's changed in the last decade in tertiary education in Australia and around the world is that whatever your result, your pathway is still available. You might need to do 6 months of an enabling program to get back some skill sets and come forward into the degree, which is perfectly fine. It's great for thousands of our students. It's a wonderful pathway. For others, it might be you do a first year in a slightly different degree. If you were thinking medicine and you went into biomedical sciences, you could then, after a year of doing really well, move laterally. And a lot of students wouldn't think that were possible. It doesn't mean show up and botch it. It just means go for it, but not go in with the worst kind of worry. Go in with that anticipation of trying to do well. And then for our students that aren't going well right now, I think it's giving them the mojo to say, let's get back on the horse. The last 2 years haven't been easy. But right now, to be undereducated in our region, around Australia, around the world, is to be almost left out. People that just go for that credit or go for that average, I'm not sure what to tell them they're going to do. Even would you like fries with that isn't going to be necessary when the robot can make the fries and hand them to you. So I think we're in a situation where those students I'm really worried about won't go for their best because they just might say, I don't bloody care. And I think we got to get them turned around. But for all those populations, you're absolutely right. They got to get their rest. They got to get their exercise. The best thing to do the night before a tough HSC, go to the cinema, take a walk, go to the beach, do something different that gets your mind at ease. Because at that point, there's really not much you can do except to get yourself charged up. And for families that are worried and scared about the future, all pathways are open following this. So it's really about supporting your child and not overemphasizing this as like the end-all be-all. It absolutely is not. And that pressure is the pressure that causes mental health stress and actually has gotten a lot of kids ill.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. We'll try and get across a couple of those super quick there, John. But yes, there are the students that have got that university pathway thought out, or that's part of their future. Also, massive trade shortages. So yes, a lot of kids that are thinking maybe that is a pathway for me. Also, it's interesting to hear you mention that while we all know that by the time it gets to the night before, if it ain't in there, it ain't getting in. But the idea of, at that point, let's just completely switch off and just do something to relax. And you're right, at that point, you really need to you need to be thinking about yourself, how you're going to be able to operate the following day.
Exactly. And should you have a good day, you've done your best. And if you didn't, not to get yourself eaten up over it. There's so many pathways through TAFE, to university, and also for those going straight into the workplace, wonderful opportunities to take advantage of work experience. And right now, you're right. Your passion can find a job given the talent shortage out there. The key message is do your best. don't over worry it, but also have a plan B. And that plan B will still get you to your plan A. Or maybe you'll just change your mind and become a different you, as we all have through the years. I don't think any of us thought in 2022 we'd be sitting here this morning talking about a beautiful spring day and about HSC.
No, well, that's it. And again, I think that is the basic trapdoor to keep in mind, John, that look, if it doesn't work out, if you bum a test here or there, look, you can still get to where you need to be. It won't be tomorrow. It'll be the next time around. So you can get there, but obviously do your best this time.
And for our top students who are already worried about the next thing, even though they're going to do well, think about applying for scholarships. A lot of students don't realize they might be eligible on their merit. So these very anxious students who are already going to be fine, turn that anxiety into an action. Apply for stuff that'll get you some resources. Maybe you won't have to work as hard in your first year at uni because you got an award for being so excellent.
A lot of things to think about, and it is a very stressful time for Hunter households as they approach HSC season. A few tips and hints there from our Professor of Education from the University of Newcastle, John Fischetti. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for your time.
Mark.
2NURFM 103.7.
A broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.